Welcome to the Power of Music podcast, brought to you by JM International. Get ready to explore conversations with those making a difference through music.
Hello, and welcome everyone to the Power of Music podcast, provided to you by JMI, Jeunesse Musicale International, a global network of NGOs that empowers young people through music across all boundaries. Today, we are recording from Harare, Zimbabwe, where the JMI Global Conference is hosted. My name is Ricardo, and I'll be your host, and for this episode, I'm joined by Paulo Chibanga. Paulo is an innovative entrepreneur, drummer, and has an amazing and diverse career within the music industry. Thank you for
having me.
Thank you for being here. So let's start off by what's been your journey into music?
It's a long journey. 40 minutes, I don't think it would be possible to describe my journey. But I would say that my journey started in '86 when I was just 6 and I went to the music school. My parents took me there as an extracurricular activity. And at that time, music was way too complex to understand and grasp, especially for kids. And that's why today we discuss the practical type of courses in general for everything, you know. With music being a course, when you look at it in terms of the studies, you have a very theoretical part, you know, that back then, and I don't know today, it used to really push people away, you know, and this is what happened with me in '86. I went there, I was 6, and I was just like, Mom, I want to be out. I'm not here for this. I came here to play the piano and the drums, you know, and then I left. I went to my life. But then when I was about, I think, 15 again, friends of mine, I met them in one of those typical vibes in the house outside where people are playing guitars and things like this, you know, in the neighborhood. And they invite me to go to a rehearsal space in that day. And in that day as well, they said to me, you know, I should play the drums, I guess jokingly or not, but very good friends of mine are like, it's your turn, go play the drums. And then I stepped there, and the rest really, really, really was history, because from that point on, the next day I asked my friends, I remember clearly the song they were jamming. At that time, they were jamming Fields of Joy by Lenny Kravitz, you know, so this is the first song I played, Fields of Joy. Dan, 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 you know this track, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So this is my first jamming. It's got nice drum breaks.
Yes.
It's got a great song to learn. Huh? So then after that, I went for school. Personally, I asked my friends for a drumming lessons and a teacher. And I ended up going to the same school I went in '86 when I was 6, but now older, you know, for private lessons. And funny enough, when I arrived there, the guy said to me, okay, you want to play? What do you want to play? I said, yeah, I want to play drums. I want to be a drummer. And he said to me, what do you want to do? I said, I want to play rock and roll, you know. And he was like, really want to play rock and roll? I said, yeah, rock and roll. And so he gave me the drum pattern of rock and roll. That type of drum roll pattern. And I was like, okay. And it's 2 days after, because he knew what he was saying to me. And I was like already like bored of that pattern. And I was like, no, I want to learn more. And then from then on, I started learning, and I went in depth into all music and drums had to offer, from jazz music. I played a whole lot of jazz in my beginning of forming years, you know, standards, jazz standards, from Spain to Midnight in Tunisia and many other tracks that have formed part, so what, you know, form part of the jazz standards, you know. And with that, started playing with musicians that today are gigantic jazz musicians, such as Moreira, which is based in Mozambique, or even Mazuz, which is based here in Norway, you know. And we started playing, you know, and that's my kind of beginning into music. A little bit further from that, around 6, when I was close to 18, my mother, obviously before that, I made a fight so she could get me a drum kit, right? Then she gets me a drum kit. I go into 11th floor on a building, you know, and I'm smashing the drums as I'm learning, and the neighbors are getting upset. But no, but we still played. I got better each day, and then started my career at the clubs, you know, and really quickly, maybe I think my second year or third year, I was already giving lessons, you know. So I turned into a teacher already, teaching lessons to younger kids and things like this, and then I was developing my skill at this time, on that, my mother found her next stressed because in her thought process, and that's why, for example, I speak a lot about that because it's important for parents to understand today what are the talents of their kids, to be fast to identify those, and because that can, especially in the world of today where kids are already becoming billionaire at 12, you need to really understand where they're going. That's where Montessori type of learning and things are important in life. Find out what are they good. I would say that my parents were quite good at allowing me to try things,
good.
but obviously they were worried. And that's where they, in 96, 2 years after Mandela just got out of prison, fresh South Africa, they sent me to South Africa in 96. And in 96, I went to study my 10th, 11th grade, and that's where, when I arrived there, I met some old bandmates of mine in Mozambique. Because my mother really took me out of the system because my teachers were coming to get me to play at 16 at the club, at the jazz club. And she was like, this thing is going strange. And I had a lot of bands as well. So she thought it would be good to take me out. And at this time, which is the interesting story, 40 minutes I told you is not enough. I had dreadlocks, and I had braids. And I remember her telling me, let's go to this trip to Joburg, but you need to cut your hair. I was like, what is this about, right? So then I do this journey with her. And I go there and we go to a school. I discovered that, I was being introduced to a boys' school, strictly boys' school. And when I realized that, I was like, no, this is not something I was thinking about.
She tricked you.
Yeah, she tricked me. And then I failed that exam. But and then on the same moment, she took me to another school. She called some people. She was really worried. She took me to Joburg, Pretoria, Joburg. We go and we arrived at St. Martin's School. This is the school where Wayne Ferreira was studying, one of the top players, tennis, right? And me and James Small, rugby, studied in this school. So when I was there, the first reception I have is from mates that I knew in Mozambique. In fact, we were playing in Maputo. So this is the guys that received me at the school. So I'm like, yo, this is it. So my colleagues at the time, and it's funny to talk about this today. So they prepared everything around it, right? I'm coming from Mozambique. I don't speak English. I don't know the standards. At the time, it was IBE or something. But the guys wanted to guarantee a stay in this school. So they started making everything in the process to allow me to tell me the questions of the exam. Mm-hmm. So they came into the library like they set it up.
So tricked the system back. You tricked it back.
They put me back. And the funny thing is that when I left, my mother took me out. I was in 10th grade. So I didn't finish. And she took me out for these exams. And in my exam, I passed. I went to 11th in South Africa. Do you understand? Uh-huh. So this is a life story. So then I started studying there at 11th grade, skipped 10th, got to 11th. And started playing with my school teacher, our teacher. He was a bass player. I was playing the drums, and my other colleague from Mozambique, and we started a band there, at school and doing all these events and things, etc., etc. As the time was growing, we changed and we changed the name to a band called 340 Mil. This is now the connection we have all together with Matt Concha. He's a capoeira guy. Mm-hmm. And he was very connected with the Mozambican Massive. And 340 Mil was this group that we created in South Africa in the 90s that brought about unification, for the South African market and for people for two reasons. So band from Mozambique living in South Africa, mixed band, black, white, Indians, all in one band. And Mandela just came out, So there was few bands that could unify people, crowds. So this is what the people that will search on 340 ML will find and discover. It was a cult dub reggae group we created in the 90s. And we've done a lot of work with this. And then I started then. And in 99 as well, we broke the first Sony Music deal with this band, first for Mozambique, first for us, first even for South Africa to have broken a reggae dub group, at Sony Music at that time.
Yeah.
And the song is there. One of the biggest hits is Midnight, a song called Midnight that we've done, and it's still living. This year in particular, the song turns 2 decades.
Congrats.
Right? So we have to think of the celebration and everything. So based on that, we also started to understand the markets in South Africa. Myself personally, just coming out from my school, now going to university, to Wits Tech, where I entered the course of architecture. So as you know, mostly, in the course of architecture is a very wide spectrum and palette of people that are there, mostly artists, and also the next case scenario that happens in architecture is a lot of dropout people because it's quite wide course. You got art, you got engineering, it's like so many options,
Yeah.
And that's where I found really my space, my peace, because I was like, I'm with artists here. I love my architecture course. And it was already there in downtown South Africa that I started a movement with the Black people of South Africa in the downtown, because remember, it's post-apartheid. Not everybody goes to the city. I'm studying in the city. I'm convincing even my bandmates, that there's a market here. There's something. There are people that are listening to these sounds, and then we started investigating and going to these sessions in downtown, the Monday Blues sessions, hosted at the time by a guy called Peter Makurub, where gigantic people used to take part. Brenda Fassie, Tandiswa Mazwai, various people that are like huge for us. Oliver Mtukudzi, for example, they used to go to this session. So it was a platform for us to engage with people. We've done a couple of those, and really we clicked with the South African market in terms of being embedded in their ecosystem, cultural system. We got accepted, basically.
Sick.
Released the album in South Africa, make a big wave in South Africa. Then we grow into another group called Tumi and a Volume, which we created as well in South Africa, which I'm a member, Currently, Tumi is called Stogie Tea for somebody who wants to research. And with Tumi and a Volume done, we grew into Europe. That's where we stepped into Europe. Remember in 2013 when we formed the band, inspired by a band, I don't know if they're still doing, called Relax, a Dutch band, Holland. Relax hip hop, amazing group. And we saw them playing live, right? And their album, it was recorded live.
Yeah.
So that's why our first album, Tumi and a Volume, it's called Live at the Baseline. So they inspired us to be practical about things. We recorded. We just went on the concert. We recorded and we released, and that's what exactly we did. And based on that, we went on festivals. And on the first festival we played at Opikopi, one of the festival directors of a big festival in Norway called Court was there, and then they watched us. So our breakout was already a big show. Court Festival, as you know, one of the biggest ones, opening for the Roots. This is how we started, This is how we started. And I would say that the rest is history. We made a lot with our careers in Europe, released 3 albums through French labels. One is with Piers, another one was with Vagram. We released another album with 340 Mil with Bipolar in Marseille, which is a reggae dub band, and multiple tours as well. And on top of that, we managed to scoop in a couple of awards, For example, for 340 Mil, we got the Best Production Album and Best Alternative South African Music Awards. We got also for Tumi major and various nominations, And at the same time, I had the opportunity to shape the sound as a producer myself, working with artists such as Bongeziwe Mabandla, today, award winner. But we've recorded songs together, started to have a studio at my house, and starting to do what I do today at my incubator, which is to nurture artists, right? So from that point on, fast forward, we took 16 years in South Africa, based in South Africa, from the day my mom dropped me there until I left. And when I left, it was really 2 things, One, which I'm glad I did, was the feeling of repatriation. 16 years in a different country is tough, but also was losing the sense of understanding who I was, what I wanted, and at the same time missing my people, you know. And imagine when I return, now I've been in Mozambique 13 years. My father passed away 5 years ago. If I didn't come, I would have missed that. So it was almost like a calling to come back home. And when I came back home, it was after multiple tours, global tours. And my idea was really to start something in Mozambique. You know, how could I start something similar that I've seen? Mozambique has just been out of a major war, 16 years of war. So obviously the entertainment ecosystem is dented. Nothing is happening there. How do we move forward? So what I've done, I've discussed, and it's relevant because we're sitting in Zimbabwe, and I invited a few artists to come. I wouldn't say found, but to fund with their performances the beginning of the festival. The discussion was really a discussion that can be had today. You know, if you go and do, for example, door deals in your own turf, why are you not able to go next door and still do a door deal, you know? And these are the things that artists need also to open minds to it as they develop their careers, you know? So I discussed with a few people, Tlale McCann, a percussionist, heavyweight guy, Zabs the Last Letter, rapper from Zimbabwe, and a couple of other artists, you know. And I said, guys, come help me out. Let's go to Maputo. I'll take care of you. And then these guys helped me to put the festival, what we call today Azgo Festival, which is part of my creative development project or company entity, which is called Kuzula. You know, within Kuzula, what we do, you know, we do the festival, the Azgo Festival, entertainment and events, you know, various from Joston Live in Maputo, Sean Paul in Maputo. But our main baby is really the festival, because the festival has a couple of tentacles, you know. Is a multicultural festival, is a 7-day situation, 2 days of music. It's got a free concert in the community called Mafalala. It holds workshops, master classes. You know, it holds a mini festival called the Azgo Zitu. And it requires a lot of us to put the festival. But at the same time, only now it's been consolidated actually this year on the period of 10 years, you know, which is normal for the growth of festivals. For those that are listening, wanting to know, you know, what and when you start making money, really is around the 7th, 8th to 10th year you make, because you need to go through all those processes, especially in Africa where you don't have the academy, you know, with such courses. Only now you have more, you know, guys like GMI projects, Music Crossroads. You have some of these courses today, but before there wasn't, you know, so you really need to bite the bullet and do it yourself and learn. And finally, today we are at the point where the project grew so much. We celebrated this year 10th edition. But if it wasn't for the COVID, we would have been 13 years. And this is where most of the transformation came about for us, you know. When the COVID time came, it's really like for everyone, it sounds like typical, but this is what it happened for everyone, made us rethink, you know, of alternatives on how to gain our sustainability. And one of the major things we discovered at that time is that we had a big brand, and that we managed to, in our difficulties, to manage a whole lot of money, you know. So this gave us the credibility to now go to donors, to funders, and say, okay, guys, we've managed this much money, you know. We understand that festival is a platform, but we also understand something else, that there needs to be a platform to nurture, to prepare, and to foster artists. And that can only be a hub, a creative hub in Maputo. And that's why through the Sounds Connect Fund, the music in Africa, you know, financed by the Goethe Institute, we applied, you know, for the Sound Connects, for a hub idea. And then we developed in Mozambique what we call the X Hub, you know, and the X Hub means crossed arts, you know, where we discussed everything, all arts together in one space, you know, in one community. Um, I kind of joke, but it's correct to make a film, you know, because a film is a pure representation of the creative sector. When everybody's together in a film, you see like the full spectrum, you know, designers, painters, musicians, producers, like everybody. So the idea of the of the X Hub is really to have everybody interlinked, but it's also cross generational. How do the emerging artists talk to the more acclaimed, but how also the kids talk to the elder artists, you know? So we created this space that provides this experience for the Mozambican creative community. So within the space, we have a co-work element, a co-work space, which hosts only creative companies and companies that are within the value chain of creativity. Okay. And then we have the top floor, the bottom floor, we have the studios, video, audiovisual, and we have the recording studio where we do various things from podcasting. But as well, our main focus is to do music creation. Really, when we talk music creation, our ambition really is to give a new shape to the Mozambican sound, but also to join the global world, you know, because identity is perfect, you know, but globalization is happening, you know. So then how do you merge this? You know, you merge this through elements of global sounds and bringing a little bit of your identity into it. That's why today at the Hub we are discussing and doing various projects with Afro House, Afro Tech, you know, which we believe is the solution, you know, today. And this is proven, you know, with guys like Temba, guys like Black Coffee, which were, you know, we worked together in the past in South Africa. But this is proven that this gives access, similar to Music Bridges, which is a partner of ours, the project that Sean Duvet is doing and Valentino are doing as well in Cape Town. This just proves that this is the easiest mobility way. Not only comprises of few elements of a group, you know, less complex, you know, but also is an easy digestive type of music, even spiritually. You know, people dance easily through Afro House, Afro Tech, Mapiano, all those things. You know, so we are trying to put Mozambique as well in the map through the sounds. Done some great things so far. Also trying to take the traditional music of Mozambique to international forums, you know. But in the Afro House scene today, and through something that we really believe and are discussed today in the conference, is that we have stopped discussing access to market before talking about creativity and collaboration, you know, because there's no point accessing a market that doesn't know you, you know. And the only way you can be known in the market if you work with the people of that market, especially the artists. I'm not talking about the creative industry setup, you know, which is very hard. But today, God bless that the digital world is here, you know. So meaning the www is really wide, you know, and people can promote themselves and do things, you know. And this is a major tool, and people need to take advantage of that, you know, because before you needed to convince the label managers, the station, the radio station, playlist man. It's complex, you know. So today, what we've took a very amazing group, which I want to present to you. And if you can play on your show, the Hood Bros. And the Hood Bros are today the #1 Afro House DJs. They've been played in set list of DJ Barata, Shimza. Most of these guys, they're playing, you know, the boys. And this year we managed through the project not only record them, made a lot of collaborations, one of which we recorded and released. Now we released last month at Bushfire as part of a project called Collaboration with the Hood Bros featuring Tobile. But also now they're collaborating with the major artist called Shoma Josie for the new album, you know, where we made a couple of tracks for our album, but also big featured songs, you know. So that's this power that I'm discussing here, and that we are not looking at it in a human way, because the human way is like, hello friend, how are you? Let's have food. What do you do? Can we make something together? And you're making something together. So it's not an egotistical situation where I am this, I go this, I block you. No. It's like, let's create. And artists are emotive, and that's what they do, and they're here for, is to create and to create collaborations. So we've done and doing major collaborations. Done this one with Show that is about to come. Done the one with Tobili Makonya for Bushfire. One with Sakifo Festival and a band called Fayaza from Reunion Island, which we are about to release in France. And this is our journey, to see how many places we can go and collaborate and make music, And already through this expression, and I say to people, we need to be practical about things. We need to stop a little bit of philosophy and go into a little bit of more practical. And the example I give to people is that me and my boys, the Hood Bros, we went to studio. We made one track with the Swazi artist. We sent to the festival director, and literally in 5 minutes, he programmed. This is about being practical. So people must, how can I put this in a good way? They must not hide themselves or create excuses.
Yeah. They have to embrace the possibilities of
They must do it.
Yeah.
Not even embrace the possibility. They must do it.
Fair enough, yeah.
That's where I come from. You do it, and then you get the result afterwards.
But this is then a good question to ask, because I heard throughout your entire story, you do seem to have one superpower. It's to see possibilities. Even back in Joburg, you said no one was doing it, and I convinced all my band, let's go there. There's a what is that? Like, because people listening, they might be like, whoa, how do you get an opportunity mindset?
I think the superpower we're discussing here is a fearless situation. And fearless is the one superpower that you need for entrepreneurship. If you don't have that, you might as well stay at home. I'm a person that like to be challenged by the possibilities of a no, and this is exercise that a lot of people lack, exercising for working in hard conditions, exercising for after the no, go back again, to the same person, and that victory, I'm telling you, it savors much better in the same person that gave you the no.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Because they see your process, they see that you're working. They're not beaten by your failure, because most people are looking at you. Today, I'm a festival organizer. In fact, no more. I'm a founder. My festival is directed by Julia Novella. But I can understand when people come to me and they tell me one thing once, and then I can see that they got a little bit beaten. Because this is visible.
Yeah.
This is visible. And to say that in a cute way, that people need to really persist, and it's not that persist of, no, you need to be methodic. I don't know if this word is it. You have a methodology about it.
Pragmatic as well, I guess. You have to be pragmatic as
well. But the method I'm talking is more like, okay, I have this plan. I've reached these guys this year. Okay, I'm going to give them a break in December. I've used these guys. And then you come next year, you do it again. Because I remember in my first and second year of the festival, what happened is that I really used to get upset with the no. And I would think that this is a construction being done to destroy me. People easily take that in personally.
Yeah.
Like, people want to destroy me. No, people have a billion things to do. And you need to do your part, and you need to do it nicely.
Yep.
But most of it, if we discuss about my power, I think is it's a joint power. I'm a dreamer and I'm a fearless person, and this combination, I think, puts me where I am today. But just going a little bit, if I may, to conclude on the Kuzula projects, which I think are important today, still within music, I mean, we opened the arm for the Azgo Festival. We opened the arm for the incubator, which is working perfectly, and we are now at the point of how can I say, going to the next phase with the X Academy, which we're opening soon, you know. But also we looked at other elements around the music business sector. For example, the digital distribution, which we represent the Orchard for Mozambique, and we own a catalog about 7,000 tracks or more, and we represent a couple 200 artists in Mozambique. But also with that, and through the hub, we're doing some artist agency, light, but we're doing support as well, legal support, admin, finance support for artists. But mostly what we have as a mission is to formalize the businesses of the artists, because they are off the grid, and this is a problem. You need to formalize businesses because you are a creator, you put content in the market, and obviously you have your duties to do, and this is what we're doing constantly today in terms of trying to organize the artists, in a format that they are formalized. And this is not only because we are saying we're going to do it just to do it, it's because we are a platform, we are a festival. How many artists we program, they don't give us an invoice, So we know the ecosystem and we understand what needs to be done. And that's why our answer during COVID was really to combat all those gaps. We looked at our gaps and we said, okay, with this fund, what we're going to do? We're going to combat these gaps, But also something beautiful that happened is a second grant that we got awarded. The previous one is circa 300,000 euros, something like joint projects, 18-month project. The beauty of it is that we are kind of at the end of the project. Project is 100% sustainable by itself. We've managed to train about 800 people at the hub. We have full, how can you say? I don't know if you say coverage, but amount of people that are using the hub.
Yeah.
And we are ready to grow to the next step. So meaning what we thought it was a need or a challenge, it became an opportunity, and today as a result, a very good result that we can discuss and talk to people. But also during that time, we took another challenge for a 1 million euro project, European Union fund for the Pro Cultura, and we partnered with the company in Lisbon, Sounds Good, and we have pitched for the project called Marimba. And Marimba is a heritage conservation project of the marimba instrument, culture, So basically we have a training activity where we train how to digitalize the various archives. The project is spread in 3 countries, Mozambique, Angola, and Guinea-Bissau, working with the major the national radios, right? So we go in the archives, look at what they have, we digitalize. Some of it we take, for I wouldn't say remix, but treatment of the sound, treatment of the tape or the bobine, and then after that, we take it into the remaster phase. But the project has other elements also, which are the touring, So after we go back into those archives and we discover those artists, now we need to reinvent the new sound of the marimba, or kind of what we say, go back to the golden oldies and bring those guys back on the tour. Similar to what you see on the Buena Vista Social Club, after you've digged into the crates and everything and you discover that gold and how you take it to the world. So this project we've done, currently we've released and releasing the second book. One is a book on marabenta, major musical genre for Mozambique, which is investigative work we do, So basically that goes in under our publishing company or book publishing, where we only have books about music. So we have, for example, songbooks. And I don't know globally who's doing songbooks, but in Mozambique, we are the first. In South Africa, that I know, South African songbooks. That I know, because I haven't seen a Yoma Sakala songbook. There would have been.
Sure.
I don't know, but we'll research and everybody knows, tell me. But the idea is that we need to start now documenting and writing our music. You know, not only our our major artists, but the music of Africa. Because if you do that document, the guys in China can play it at the university. You know, it's different because we have different ways, different harmonies to play in Africa. And we need to document that. If we don't do that, somebody else is going to do for us. But the problem is that we need to... Yeah, the problem really is not a problem, but the idea is that we need to document, and this is what we do under our publishing book companies. Everything about music. So this is the second project we're doing as well at Kuzula.
Amazing.
Under Marimba, and then after that, recently, about last week, we've signed an agreement with the municipality of the city of Maputo to bring arts to the city. So with that, we launched in the first project, murals by the bridge, one of the popular bridges in Maputo, paying homage to the three of the most iconic artists of Maputo, Fani Fumu, Zena Bakar, and Madala, center, south, and north of Mozambique. But with that, we're starting a new conversation, is discussing arts in the city, but also dignifying these artists, in the city, you know. What is the role of the city with the arts? What's the role of the city with the music? So this is what we're talking now, and successfully we have launched the project. It's been very well received, and we hope to continue and to bring many more of these projects. I don't know. I said to you, 40 minutes is really even to when Matt asked me to do the presentation, I sent him a couple of things.
Yeah.
And he said 10 minutes. I said, no, Matt, you didn't bring me up for 10 minutes.
We have time.
But anyway, yeah. Anyway, it's such a pleasure to sometimes talk ideas.
Yeah. Tell me something, like we had this pre-discussion a bit that I think kind of funnels nicely in what we talk about right now, because you talk about arts. Like we talked about the word culture and how you say, I prefer just to talk about creativity. Yeah. I think that's very interesting. Can you say something about that, please?
Yeah. No, I think the approach was, and in our organization, in Mozambique, we tend to feel and see, and I think also in other countries, that the word culture, it really reduces the power of the intent of what is culture again? Culture is a repetition of a thing that you do. You can have the culture of holding the bottle like this every day. What are you discussing? It's quite open when you say culture. For me,
it's everything. Yeah.
It's everything. Yeah. So now, obviously, the people that need to give you money, if they have to debate culture, they also lost.
Yeah.
Conserving, preserving, heritage. Where are we going with this? Yeah. But personally, for me in Maputo, it's really when people talk like culture, you like culture, you like this, like almost like they're making fun of you. So we tried something else and we changed to creativity. And the game changed completely. Creativity is what the ad agencies talk. It's a multi-billion business, and they use all the elements of the arts world and the music that we are talking here. Today you talk music here, but if you go to an ad agency and you're going to discuss music, it's a different platform. They're making music all the time, and they're making music that is big time, it's billions. So why not merging those things? Similar to sports.
True.
Sports and music, sports and arts should be like this.
Yeah, of course.
Especially in Mozambique, where our sports is like they really struggle. There's a duty, but if you start cross-pollinating those two, you start seeing the results of the people, So for us at the X-Hub at Kuzula, everything we discuss is about creativity. How creative you are. It's not because we don't acknowledge music. In fact, if you been here from the beginning of the session, you know that I'm a musician. But it's just how you address things. And you should try. People that are listening, they should try. and see what are the results. Tell us
Yeah, exactly.
what they found with that result. Once they said,
gold mine.
fund my music festival or fund my creativity project. What was the difference of those two? And how big you can go with one or the other one.
I will report to you.
Thank you.
Okay, because we don't have so much time, but I have one question, but
Yeah.
only short answer, please. Why drums? And I asked you, as somebody who I've always wanted to play the drums. My parents said, no, you play piano because it makes too much noise.
Yeah.
No, I'm never too old. So maybe whenever I meet someone who plays the drums, I'm like, wow, I should really do this.
I could
Why the
speak drums on various ways. But the first way, I'll tell you why. And again, I said that in the beginning. I was tricked into it because I went with my friends into a studio and they said, you are the drummer. Play. But the question for me is more like, why did you remain on drums? And what is the power of drums? The first power of drums is the maths of drums. The second power of drums is the dyslexia of drums, and that's why you find that in between this, if you look at various musicians, there are more drummers in political, entrepreneurial positions, there are in other instruments, because the drummer has a visibility from the back, is responsible to set up the tempo. So from the beginning, they're telling you, you are the commander. There's no one commanding a song rather than the beat maker. There's no one. People can come debate this again with me. There's no one. We set the tempo. And if you set the tempo, you are the god.
True.
And that's why I play drums, because I wanted to be the god.
That's right.
Yeah.
Something else that I like that seems to be like a red thread throughout the whole story is that, so you have this fearlessness that then kind of funnels into entrepreneurship, that I like it a lot and it's necessary in the industry everywhere, also in Europe. The second thing that I heard all the way from your time in South Africa is that there's always kind of this element of wanting to bring something good to the world. Like you want to unite the people. You had this mixed band and in a specific time. Yeah. What is that for you? And then I think it funnels nice into the last question that you know already. But
yeah. No. You're quite on point. I like because you're quite attentive. But why I feel kind of happy for your question is because recently I've said to someone and to people, and I say publicly, that I know my purpose. I'm 44. I know my purpose. And my purpose and everything that I do is community driven. Anything that sparks a light and a joy in a community, that's where I'm at. That's why I have a festival,
Of course.
And that's why we're doing projects in the communities and for the people. So for me, it's for the people. I think I might not look like that, but I'm too altruistic, and I'm for the people. Things for the people, and I would like to see, more of these projects for the people, and that's why I do it, and that's why most organizers, promoters, or cultural creative entrepreneur, they do it because for more than them being fearless, they're doing that because it's almost they had a calling that you have to do this.
Yeah.
Because really it's not about money.
Of course.
Money comes later, but it's not. It's because you're like seeing the joy of many people together, understanding your curation at the end of the day. The joy of a director is like, wow, the night was beautiful. My decisions into curating this festival brought joy to people. And people started commenting, wow, so much, so amazing. It's not really about how much money I make, but it's really like the end of the night when people are like, and when you go in the crowd and the people are just like with the glare in the eyes. So I'm for the people, basically.
I love that.
Yeah.
I teach a course mainly for musicians, and it used to be called How to Build Your Brand. And we put the R between brackets, so it said band and brand. And I love doing that course. It's about like, building a sustainable brand for an artist, and then some along the years, I rebranded that course and I called it how to build a purposeful brand, or how to build a brand with purpose. And in the beginning, it was a little bit pragmatic, because I realized like a lot of artists, they don't like this word. They are doing it for the creativity, for the culture. You see, culture again.
Yeah.
But it's because I really believe in that as well. And we always start like, whatever you build your brand as an artist, look first for this purpose. And I do a lot of sessions with artists where we do that, because I think for the longevity, to take the no's as well. If you know why you're doing it, and you know you get a no, it still hurts, but it's different, because I want to go there. I need a few no's. I will still need to go there.
For sure.
And I believe in that. I believe that if you actually give something back, it will come in the end.
I think on the perspective that you're talking, my God always knew my purpose from the beginning.
Of course.
And that's why he kept on giving me the necessary input or power.
Yeah.
Or an input or power to go forward.
Yeah.
And that's why that was, the power that he pushed on me, Yeah.
If people want to connect with you, like, I don't know, in any way, can they find you somewhere?
Oh, they can find me through my Instagram page, Paulo Chibanga. They can find through many of the projects that we have, Azgo Festival.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're going to put the links, how you do,
yeah.
The X-Hub project, the Kuzula project, the Modigi, Mozambique Digital project, but they can reach me out on my Instagram, and we talk and we discuss. Obviously, I'm not how do you say, these people that help you think. What was team builder, whatever. I'm not this guy, so
No.
don't expect to call me with the question that you think I'm going to save your life. But I'm there because mostly I'm there for projects as well.
Yeah.
People, they want to engage with the festival, engage with the hub, bring Mozambican artists to their countries and do things. That's what we do. But I want to leave something clear as well here, that we today are focused on collaboration work. This is what we want to do. We want to make tracks. We want to make Mozambique, and I'm speaking on behalf of Mozambicans. We want to make Mozambicans known to the world. Yeah. But now you had a question.
I have a last question. And I can talk with you for hours. I feel that. But we're running towards the end, so we're going to have the very, very last question for you. As always, what is the power of music?
The power of music. I heard some people don't accept to answer this.
Well, some people say that they need at least a few days or weeks to think about it. And, the funny thing is most people answer this question, and then I love this. So we answer this question. I press the record bit. We're done.
Mm-hmm.
We have a little bit of talk, and they always said, "Yeah, very generic answer, right? I probably said the same as everyone else, but everyone says something different."
I'm serious.
Yes, that's the same kind of direction sometimes. But which one I love the most? I will share this with you.
Yeah.
There was one guy, I talked to him. He was a data analysis, and he did like festival data analysis in Chile, so he could kind of see the impact that they can get funding. He was a very mathematical, very very analytical guy. I asked him what's the power of music, so I expected him to come with some numbers, and he said music's vibration. If you make one vibration now, it goes until the end of the universe, until God, and it comes back. And
I like it.
And I love that. I was like, that's so surprising. So people surprised me. No pressure, but what is the power of music?
It's good. I'll keep it simple. I think the power of music is to heal. I think I'll leave it there, because the other guys, they connected pretty well, and I use music to heal myself. When I'm in need for healing, I listen to music a lot myself for that. Music itself as a vehicle, to heal people through messages, through the vibrations then that was said, it's correct. Through religion, through emotion, and only music can do. Music today save people out of poverty. These are the other things. So for me, music take people out of war, you know. So music is a huge power to heal people. That's how I use it, and that's how I see music. And again, when I talk about that glare, when you see at concerts and thing, is that healing power happening, you know? Yeah, that's my feeling.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you very much for listening. If you want more information about JM or you would like to get involved, visit www.jmi.net. At JMI, we are on a mission to make the world more musical. That's why we created Mubazar, a digital platform that helps us manage all our musical activities across 80 countries worldwide, connecting musicians with opportunities to grow both personally and professionally. If you are a music professional looking for a better way to manage and promote your music activities, check out Mubazar. Created for music organizers, by music organizers, Mubazar allows you to run music competitions, workshops, camps, auditions, masterclasses, awards, events, and much more. Mubazar offers custom application forms, payments for your activities, jury tools, translations, analytics, and more. Mubazar is fast becoming the best place for musicians to find and apply for music opportunities online, and you can sign up today for a free organizer account by going to www.mubazar.com, registering, and then requesting to upgrade to an organizer on the right-hand menu. For more info, don't hesitate to get in touch via support@mubazar.com. It would mean a lot to us if you could give us 1 minute of your time and rate and review the podcast. In case you have any suggestions or would like to be one of our next guests, feel free to reach out to us through the JMI socials.